Captain Algum had once believed that victory belonged to whoever possessed the most advanced technology. His fleet carried quantum disruptors capable of melting battlecruisers in seconds. Their targeting systems predicted enemy maneuvers before they happened. Their shields could survive asteroid impacts without losing a fraction of a percent of power. They had conquered 27 star systems. They had never lost a battle. So when the sensors reported 4 stranded humans hiding inside an abandoned orbital scrap field, Algum laughed. 4? His tactical officer nodded. 4 life signs, Admiral. No warships, no escorts, no escape route. Negative. Algum smiled. It seems the stories about humans have been greatly exaggerated. He stood from his command throne and looked through the massive bridge viewport. Before them floated what looked like centuries of forgotten garbage, ancient Earth satellites, broken communication relays, dyed cargo containers, boxed space station modules. Thousands upon thousands of rusting metal fragments drifted together around the remains of an obsolete maintenance station that should have been scrapped 200 years earlier. Hidden among the debris was a tiny heat signature. The humans, one of Algum's officers, chuckled. They appear to be repairing something. The tactical display zoomed in. Instead of preparing for surrender, the 4 humans were surrounded by piles of junk. One was welding pipes together. Another dragged enormous solar panels across the station. A third disappeared into what looked like an old engine compartment. The last was carrying a large coil of cable over one shoulder while drinking from a dented metal mug. Algum frowned. What are they doing? No idea, Admiral. He waved dismissively. It doesn't matter. He activated the fleet-wide channel. Attention all vessels. His deep voice echoed through every bridge. Fire all weapons. Hundreds of plasma batteries lit the darkness. The first volley crossed space in brilliant blue streaks. Explosions consumed the abandoned station. Ancient satellites shattered into thousands of glowing fragments. Metal twisted, fuel tanks burst. Entire sections of debris vanished beneath expanding clouds of fire. When the explosions cleared, the station was still there, mostly. One of the humans climbed onto the roof, carrying what appeared to be a wrench. He looked toward the fleet, then calmly gave them a thumbs up. Algum blinked. What? His confusion lasted only a second before something slammed into the cruiser's shields. The bridge shook violently. Warn alarms screamed. Impact detected. What hit us? The sensor officer stared at his console. A washing machine. Silence spread across the bridge. I'm sorry? A human washing machine, Admiral. Another impact. This time the object ricocheted off the shield before spinning into space. A refrigerator door. Another. A steel support beam. Another. A satellite antenna. The tactical officer looked horrified. They're shooting junk at us. Algum narrowed his eyes. How? The answer arrived over an open communications channel. A cheerful human voice crackled through the speakers. Hey, thanks for breaking the big pieces into smaller ones. Makes sorting way easier. Laughter erupted among the alien officers. They're scavengers. They're insane. They're throwing garbage. Algum smiled again. Continue firing. The second barrage was even larger. Thousands of plasma bolts tore through the scrap field. More debris exploded apart. But this time, something strange happened. The humans stopped hiding. They moved. The woman dragging solar panels suddenly unfolded them like enormous metal wings instead of collecting sunlight. They became shields. Plasma bolts struck the reflective surfaces and scattered in every direction. Several blasts even bounced harmlessly away from the station. Another human shoved an ancient maneuvering engine into open space. The engine looked dead, broken, completely useless, until wires sparked. The engine suddenly ignited, not smoothly, not correctly. It spun wildly like a drunken comet. The alien targeting computers immediately lost track of it. It has no flight pattern. It keeps changing direction. It bounced off another satellite. It bounced again. The engine slammed directly into the weapon array of an Imperial destroyer. The collision ripped 3 plasma cannons completely off the hull. The destroyer's captain stared at the damage report. "We were hit by an engine." Algern's expression darkened. "Destroy that station." The fleet advanced. Meanwhile, inside the abandoned maintenance platform, the humans worked with surprising calm. Captain Emma Carter wiped grease from her hands. "Railgun?" Engineer Luis Alvarez looked at the pile of parts. "We don't have a railgun." Sarah Kim held up 2 magnetic launch rails. "We have half of one." Noah Brooks rolled over an enormous capacitor salvaged from an ancient reactor. "And about 3/4 of another." Emma smiled. "Close enough." 15 minutes later, something stood in the middle of the station that violated nearly every engineering principle known to the galaxy. It was crooked, uneven, covered in weld marks. Half the frame consisted of plumbing pipes. The firing mechanism looked suspiciously similar to an industrial forklift. Most disturbing of all, several major components were secured with duct tape. Alien scanners examined the object. "No recognizable weapon. It cannot survive firing. It should not exist." Sarah inserted a massive steel wrench into the barrel. Louis flipped 3 homemade switches. Noah counted down. 3, 2, 1. The station shook. An ear-splitting crack echoed through space. The wrench disappeared. 3 seconds later, it punched completely through 2 attack drones before embedding itself inside the armor of an Imperial cruiser. Emergency alarms screamed. Hull breach, pressure loss, electrical failure. Algern stared at the tactical display. "Did they just shoot us with a wrench?" No one answered because nobody wanted to admit that they had. The fleet changed strategy. Instead of attacking from range, several cruisers moved closer to surround the station. The humans watched them approach. Emma smiled. "They're getting impatient." Louis looked toward an old tractor beam control panel. "You thinking what I'm thinking?" Emma nodded. "Probably. That's concerning. It usually is." The ancient tractor beam had originally been designed for moving disabled satellites. Its power output was laughable compared to military equipment. But it still worked, mostly. As the lead cruiser drifted closer, one of its maintenance cables snapped loose during a maneuver. The cable floated lazily through space, straight toward the station. Sarah noticed first. "Emma, I see it." Noah activated the tractor beam. The blue field caught the drifting cable. Louis grinned. "No way." Emma's smile grew wider. "Oh, yes." The humans anchored the cable to the station. Then they overloaded the tractor beam instead of pulling the cable. The cable pulled the cruiser. The enormous alien warship lurched sideways. Its engines fought against the unexpected force. Thrusters fired in opposite directions. Formation collapsed. 2 cruisers collided. A destroyer spun out of control. One carrier clipped a field of drifting satellites that immediately smashed against its shields. Chaos spread through the fleet. The humans tightened the cable. "What are they doing?" Algrim shouted. The tactical officer finally understood. They've lassoed the flagship. The bridge fell silent. A primitive tractor beam has captured us. The four Humes worked together, like ranchers handling an angry bull. Every time the flagship tried to maneuver, the cable redirected its movement. The more power the cruiser used, the more unstable its own formation became. Within minutes, the most advanced fleet in the sector had trapped itself. One cruiser accidentally disabled another. A third drifted into its own minefield. Several collided while trying to avoid floating debris. Algrim watched decades of military prestige collapse because four stranded humans understood basic physics better than his admirals. He slowly lowered himself back into his command chair. I surrender. The bridge became silent. His first officer looked horrified.
Admiral, we have lost.
To four civilians, using garbage, a communication request appeared. Emma Carter's smiling face filled the main screen. You done shooting? Algrim sighed. Yes. Good. She took another sip from her dented mug. Because your maneuvering array is completely misaligned. He blinked. What? You bent 3 stabilizer mounts trying to fight the tractor beam. She pointed toward his engine section as if she could see through the hull. Also, your plasma injectors are going to fail in about 6 hours. The engineering officer quickly checked. His face turned pale. She's correct, Emma shrugged. We can help fix it. Algrim stared. You would repair the fleet that attacked you? Sure. Why? Luis leaned into the camera. Because if you leave it broken, somebody else will find you. Sarah smiled. And honestly, we're kind of curious who designed this thing. Noah laughed. You people seriously overcomplicate everything. 3 days later, the Imperial fleet departed with fully repaired engines, reinforced structural supports, and a long list of engineering notes titled Stuff You Really Should Have Thought Of. In exchange, the humans received supplies, replacement parts, and safe passage home. Months later, during a meeting of the Galactic Council, an alien diplomat quietly leaned toward a newly appointed ambassador. You've never met humans, have you? The ambassador shook his head. I've heard they're dangerous. The diplomat looked into the distance, remembering an entire battle fleet defeated by washing machines, solar panels, duct tape, and one exceptionally fast wrench. He shivered. Dangerous isn't the right word. What is? The old diplomat sighed. They're the only species in the galaxy that can lose everything, and somehow gain an advantage because of it. He paused before adding the lesson every surviving officer of the Vraxis Dominion had learned the hard way. We really shouldn't mess with them.